Well, hey team, we're about to embark on a mini adventure with Shadow here. We've had Shadow for a little over 3 months and 5,000 kilometers, and we've never actually left town. So we're going to head up the coast a little bit. We're going to go away from our support network of destination chargers and rely on the supercharger network. We do have grandfathered supercharging, so that's awesome. It's not going to cost us a penny, but we've never done it before. So we'll see what it's like, and then where we're heading is actually a little bit off grid. It's about 50 kilometers off the main road away from the superchargers, so we'll see if we can survive without it. We might plug in at the house we're at, or we'll see if we can get by just relying on the supercharger. There is a destination charger there, but we've checked it out previously and it's not really practical. People always park there whether they're Teslas or not, and so we don't expect to be able to use that. So we'll see what happens, but it's an adventure for us, see how practical it is to take Shadow out of town. So let's give it a crack. So there we go, 300 kilometers ish, 90% charge. That's it's about right for us. It's only got a baby battery, Shadow, so that'll get us all the way up there hopefully, but we will catch the superchargers on the way up too. They're about 100 kilometers apart on this trip, so no problems there. And then, as I say, we will top up before we head off grid as well. So it's a bit of a test for us. I know for other people, taking their Tesla out on the open road is no big deal, but we've never done it before. We bought Shadow to bum around town in and be the soccer mum car, and he's been doing an awesome job at that, but we're going to see how he does. Alright, well here we are. It's been 3 months of ownership, but somehow this is our very first attempt at highway driving. Testing the autopilot out here and the supercharging network. So this is where the proof is in the pudding for the free supercharging for life on this car. We'll see if it's a good one. So off we go. Cruising along, it's asking for its little inputs, checking I'm still alive. Well, that was fun. It didn't last long. Won't stop start traffic, which we know how this works. We do this all the time. Crash ahead. Slowly but surely. Still a lot of traffic, but we're moving. Car's doing its thing. Starting to speed up now. Hopefully that'll be the end of it. I think we've passed the accident. There we go, pulling off for the supercharger. It's supposed to be just here somewhere. Boys found them. They're up there. It's busy. Very busy. That's not bad. 25 minutes. Alright, well there we go. A phone call, a toilet stop, and a McDonald's online order later, and we're pretty much ready to go. That's good enough for us. Back on the road and doing better now. Autopilot, full speed. Let's try party trick. Lane change. There it goes. Alright, we're going to settle in for a little while now. Well, that's more like it. About 100 kilometers between the two superchargers. However, there's also a big accident, so you have to go around the accident. But yeah, so far this week it's all good. Well, this is fun. Alright, we get to go again now. Lot of superchargers. There we go. apparently this is what late night supercharging looks like when you're out on the road. So we're just going to top up here because from here we're heading off-grid away from the supercharging network, and we'll be back at this supercharger in 4 or 5 days, hopefully, if everything goes to plan. Otherwise we might have to make a quick dash out here at some point one night, but we'll see what that looks like. It's all part of the fun. That's probably enough. It's 50 kilometers in and out of where we're going, so that's 100. Leaves us some change to bounce around for the next few days. We'll see what happens. Off we go. For any of you that are curious as to how the autopilot keeps you in tune, every kilometer it comes up with a little warning, and in a minute you'll see a little symbol come up at the bottom of the screen. It doesn't know the speed limit here because of roadwork, so there's that little symbol. Now it's flashing at me to try and get my attention, and then all I have to do is touch the steering wheel, and it does that every kilometer. Right, at the moment it should do it again. There it is. First little warning, then the flash, and if you don't do anything it'll give an audible sign. Just like that. There we go. Now if when that comes up you don't do anything and you don't respond to that audible sign, which is kind of your last warning, then the car gets really mad at you and comes up with big alarms and warnings. So there's our flash, 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 saying hurry up. Now it's giving me the warning, and in a moment it's going to yell at me, wake up. There we go. There's the big alarm. It's still driving, but now it wants me to take over. It's put hazard lights on. So it put the hazard lights on and started slowing down. It really didn't like that I wasn't paying attention. So the car says I've been a naughty boy and has revoked all my autopilot privileges. Well, we made it. We made it with 235 on the clock, and it's 50 back out to the supercharger, so range anxiety rules says I probably want to leave at least 100 on the clock. But I think we might make it our first trip away out of town. I'm hopeful that we still won't have to pay for any power. Well, we've been bouncing around up here for the last few days, and we've done a couple of longer trips that we didn't budget for, so we are now down to 74 kilometers range. Now we technically could get out to the supercharger if we wanted to, but I don't really want to spend the next 2.5 hours driving out there, charging for an hour and driving back. There are, as I mentioned, some destination chargers around here, but all but one of them are in private secure hotel parking lots, so can't really get to those, and that other one is in a spot that's not really convenient. So we are going to plug in at home for the very first time. Now, not our house, so technically we're still not paying for any power, so we can keep our zero as a zero, but this will be a good exercise. So given this whole trip is about testing the feasibility of using this car away from home, we might as well give this a crack. So first time ever charging at home. Let's do it. Yes, you have a stick. No Tesla's complete without a stick. Alright, so there's all the fun bits. Let's plug this guy in. Open butthole. Yep, that works. Cool. Well, that's a good sign. Having a good old think at the moment. Obviously we're not going to get much out of this because it is just a regular old house lead. There we go, we're getting 8 kilometers an hour. Look, honestly that's better than I thought I'd get. So 220 volts, 10 amps, about 2.2 kilowatts it should be pulling off the grid. I thought 5 to 8 maybe, so we're getting on the high side of that. 8 to 10 makes sense on paper, so look, we're doing all right. We can leave this in all night, so that should give us a good 150 kilometers by the time we need to drive it again. So that'll land us right around 220 on the clock. So all good. We shall see where we're at in the morning. It's been on all night. We had a lazy morning, so it's been about 15 hours or so. Go check out what the damage is. Well, there we go. We've added 143 kilometers. As I say, we've been plugged in now about 15 hours, so we're now up to a healthy amount. Certainly enough to bum around today and tomorrow. So that wasn't too bad. I think it worked out at about $8 or $9 worth of electricity. So not too bad, and also we're not paying for it, so it still counts as us having ever paid for electricity in my book. What's that big yellow thing in the sky? Well, that's it. We are back home and we survived. We did top up a couple of times at the house. We chose to do it that way rather than drive all the way back out to the supercharger or mess around with the problem destination charger where we were. So it seemed to work. I think by our calculations we ended up costing our family member about $15 to $18 in electricity, so that's not the end of the world, and it didn't come out of our pocket, so technically Shadow still hasn't cost us a penny, so we'll take that. It worked. It means now Shadow can take us up to the coast regularly and we don't have to worry. It's also good to know that the wall charger works no problem, and the superchargers are good at keeping us topped up getting up there, about 20 to 30 minutes in stops at each supercharger, and that was more than enough for us. So very practical, very cheap, free for us. That's a win. And my co-pilot here wants to leave some final words, which are
Hi.